Hello everyone, it's me again, Steedoj here, back some more Dragon Ball Xenoverse 2, and this time I just want to talk about the game's health or life in general. And now Xenoverse 2's life support is definitely reaching a close, because I assume after the next gen update or after DLC 17, there probably isn't going to be any more stuff despite what the roadmap says. There's a lot of changes going on in Bandai Namco, there's a lot of changes going on in the Dragon Ball games in general, and I do want to spend some time talking about it, so please obviously just leave a like and subscribe, as that greatly supports the channel. And without further ado, I will talk about potentially the end of Dragon Ball Xenoverse 2. So I think the first thing I'll address of Dragon Ball Xenoverse 2, since when you say Xenoverse 2 is dying, people usually bring up the player numbers. I think the first thing I'll talk about with Xenoverse 2 will be the player numbers. It's a very boring discussion. We've been over it a million times, but we always have to do it whenever we talk about Xenoverse 2, whether it's alive or dead or not. And unfortunately, we only ever have the Steam player numbers to go by, since Steam is the only one who actually constantly gives out their player numbers, which, yeah, that's fine. We unfortunately don't have the numbers for Xbox or PlayStation, but I guess you could use Festival of Universes. That might be an exception, though, because that was a big event. But you could use Festival of Universes as an example to how much the player base actually, is on the game. I think for Festival of Universes, at least on Xbox, by the time I checked, it was still the first week of Festival of Universes, I'm sure. I think 30k people were playing on Xbox, or at least had 30k people that signed up to Festival of Universes. Again, I don't remember how many the exact number was, but at least on Xbox, 30k people were there. One PlayStation will give them the benefit of the doubt and say that because the system is more popular, especially in Japan too, they probably did have more players than Xbox, even with its modder issue. And with PC, I'm not sure if we can even reliably use how many people were on the game to check for Festival of Universes, because for PC, I've heard that the number was very close to Xbox. It was 26,000, but when I check Steam player counts for the month of Xenoverse 2, it only says 4,000 people played during October of 2023, which is when it started. So I don't know. I'm not going to rely on the Steam player counts for how many people actually physically signed into the event and played it. But we have to assume that the numbers are all pretty similar, other than PlayStation, which, let me just be generous and give it twice the amount of number, right? So, but I think with all the stuff we've gathered so far, Festival of Universes was a hit. I think that had a lot of people playing it. Festival of Universes, I think, is the most active the game has been for the longest time. I don't remember what the statistic was that I checked, but I don't think the game has ever been as active as until launch, based on everything I've heard about Festival of Universes, even what reflects on Steam charts. I'm pretty sure Festival of Universes was more popular than any DLC, including Beast Gohan. Actually, no. I'm pretty sure it's not more popular than Ultra Instinct Goku. That's the most popular one by far. Because the Ultra Instinct Goku, that DLC, if we're being honest, that DLC might have been the only time Xenoverse 2 was actually on point of a DLC. They had the DLC character come out almost around the exact same time they showed up in the anime. That timing was absolutely golden and perfect, and you could see how much it helped the life and the health of the game, rather than having a DLC character show up several months late, or even a year late. To when they're actually shown off in the anime, or just having DLC characters be outright uninteresting, like Toppo and Pycon. Yeah, that's a great DLC choice. But the numbers don't lie. The paid DLC for this game would help it a lot more if the DLC for the game was actually appropriately made for the timeline it was in. Again, Ultra Instinct Goku worked like a charm. It was really successful. Beast Gohan was the second best DLC, I think, at least based on Steam charts, because again, that's all we have to go off of, right? Oh yeah, Goku and Gohan, super popular. The Vegeta DLC that had rebranding, no one cared, because Vegeta fans, they'll hype him up alright, but when you tell them, alright, rep your man, they're nowhere to be found.
That's right. Cry.
But that's not the point of the video. The point of the video is, unfortunately, how Xenoverse 2 does screw itself over with inappropriate updates, or bad timing updates, right? Which really, kicks the game in its own, shins. Xenoverse 2 should be doing a lot better than this, especially with the fact that, again, you could see how popular the game is. It's not I guess talked about all the time, but whenever discussion for Dragon Ball games does come up, people usually do bring up Xenoverse 2 quite fast, right? A good example is that when we found out how long Sparking Zero was in development, the amount of people who have made jokes, tweets, references, apologizing to Xenoverse 2, going, "Oh, Xenoverse 2, we forgive you for being a horrible game because you were delaying the time until Sparking Zero comes out. You gave us something to do while Sparking Zero was cooking, and for that, we forgive you." And it's that's insane, you know? People will never talk about Xenoverse 2 in a while. Xenoverse 2 is not going to be Fortnite, where people are just going to mention it unprovoked, right? But you could see how much it comes up in people's minds whenever it comes to Dragon Ball games being mentioned. The game has a right to be super, super, super popular, but it's instead seen as the black sheep, the black goat, you know? It's just seen as an abomination that you should avoid entirely. because it has screwed itself over with extremely unfortunate updates, as well as the fact that the gameplay is kind of lacking and the customization. But I don't think that's for this video. Maybe I'll talk about it later. Who knows? I feel like Xenoverse stuff almost never gets advertised ever. Like I don't think if you've seen even one Xenoverse DLC have a TV ad, then that's impressive. If you've even seen one Xenoverse DLC have an ad on Twitter, that would be impressive. I just don't think the game gets marketed at all, or mentioned or talked about by Bandai like ever. Period. It's just such a rare thing for them to bring up. And another thing surrounding the discussion of Xenoverse 2's relevancy is, on top of the fact that they won't advertise the game, they also don't like care or support the game at all, or even like consider anything. Like, I'm not saying they should have made Xenoverse 3, right? Because I've always been against Xenoverse 3. But I think Xenoverse 3, Xenoverse 3 is an entire can of worms. But Xenoverse 3 is a discussion that basically died the moment. When did it die? I want to say the moment Sparking Zero got announced. I think the moment Sparking Zero got announced, people knew that they were not wasting their time making a Xenoverse 3. Sparking Zero was in development for 5 years. They were not thinking about Xenoverse 3. It doesn't help that Xenoverse 2 is getting a next-gen update, meaning that there's probably no future for Xenoverse 3, unless if they're doing some The Last of Us type stuff, where it's like, oh, we're going to make the remaster and then the sequel, then the remaster for the sequel, you know? I doubt Bandai Namco is doing that, all right? They're not doing that. So yeah, Xenoverse 2 is a lifeline, pretty much ends with the next gen update or the next DLC. It seems like they have finally run out of relevant characters to throw into the game too, which is you know, another thing that's not supporting the game's health right now. The fact that it's like, well, okay, you guys let me know in the comment section, right? Which other characters do you think they can add to Xenoverse 2? Because I'm thinking that they are actually out of options right now. I can't think of any super relevant. Again, has to be a character that not just you like, has to be a character that a lot of people like, that would sell and make money. That's what the company wants to do. They want to make money. So you can't say, oh, guys, it'd be sick if they added the Parapara Brothers because I like them. Or if they added Ginyu, what's the name of that guy that Ginyu takes over in the Resurrection F arc? That guy, right? Let's just say, oh, they added a Ginyu version of Tagoma, right? Tagoma. It's like, no one would want that, you know? It's the same way. I'm pretty sure they learned their lesson, right? After PyCon and Topo DLC, which no one cared about, they must be like, oh, hey, let's never do that one again. I mean, the main issue is that even if the DLC was like a good amount of DLC, like they do pick the right choices, they pick the right characters, it comes at the right timing. Xenoverse doesn't have a lot for the player to do after a DLC season. You can maybe do like one of the new raids before you get bored because you realize that the raid bosses have permanent super armor and you have to get a ridiculous amount of damage on them, meaning you have to engage in a really boring activity that lasts 5 minutes all the time, no matter what. And that, yeah. You can see what I mean. I don't wanna tire you guys out by reminding you how Xenoverse really does content. Because after the game comes out, the only content you pretty much get is endless amount of raids. Sometimes a tournament every now and then, but it usually doesn't mean much. It's usually just endless amounts of raids involving super armor bosses with old rewards in them. So yeah, it's not exactly the most exciting stuff to do in between DLC season, but it's the only thing to do. Well, it's either that or you can go get moves that you probably already own, or you could play online in PvP. And we don't have to talk about PvP in this video. We already all know what the Xenoverse 2 PvP is like. And if you guys are clicking on this video and you don't know, the Xenoverse 2 PvP is really bad. Imagine the laggiest game you can, with also the most broken, cheesy mechanics that everyone is constantly exploiting the whole time. It's just a mess. But yeah, that'll be it. I think this is a good place to end the video. There's not much else to say other than the absolute state of Xenoverse 2 and how its life support is nearing its end. Because after, we'll see, right? The next gen update will make the game, 1, look prettier, 2, maybe perform better, but it won't actually give the game a longer, like, you know, it won't give the game more things to magically do. Unless they add, like, a really baller new game mode to actually fix the online PvP, but I imagine it won't. But yeah, the game doesn't really have a lot to do. I feel like Xenoverse would benefit more from having, like, having, like, cool, like, level bosses or story mode scenarios, rather than just, oh, hey, look, they're on Namek, except Coola's here this time, and the story does not change at all. It's literally just Frieza Saga, but Coola's there. You know, I don't know. Xenoverse needs to do more with its ability to mess around with timelines, make really fun missions. But, yeah, I don't know, that'll be it. Hope you guys enjoyed, and if you enjoyed, then obviously, again, please leave a like on this video, and don't forget to subscribe, it's great to support the channel, and leave a comment down below as to what you'd like to see next, amigos. Love you all, I hope you enjoyed, and I will see you all next time. Take care, and peace.